lovelies, my name is JoJo and this is JoJo Budgets. So this channel focuses on my family's journey to financial freedom, and our journey as far as budgeting money started September of last year. We are very new budgeters and we started our debt-free journey in February of this year. I'll link the debt confession video in the description box below and insert an information card in the upper right hand corner as well if you want to check out that video to see where we started to where we are now. So today what we are going to be talking about is all things sinking funds. This is my new favorite tool that was a discovery to me. I'd never heard of them, but they are amazing. They have saved our tuchuses. So I don't know about you guys, but for our family, especially this time of year, like starting around May, like when Mother's Day hits, it seems like there's lots of different things that aren't necessarily emergencies, but just things that come up that can really bust your budget. And in the past, we would have gone into debt for those things or not been prepared, even though they come around every year. We were expecting them to come. We just never prepared in advance. So for instance, you have Mother's Day and Father's Day, graduations, birthdays, our anniversaries coming up, all those sort of things. We have a lot of birthdays in the summer in our family too. And then next we have, we own a home, and with the yard and things like that, like the sprinkler system inevitably breaks. We also like to do outdoorsy things, so we buy fishing licenses. We have a motor home. We had to replace the battery in that this year, and we have to replace the alternator in it. And then we had to get an oil filter for our car. Like, Uncle Murphy didn't necessarily come to visit our house, because I feel like when you have things that you have to take care of in your life, it's an expectation that they require maintenance, and that costs money. So in the past, as I said, even knowing that, we never had money set aside for those things. And it would just blow our budget out of the water. But now with sinking funds, they have allowed us to live our lives, keep our heads above water with dealing with all of those things, and still remain on our financial freedom journey. So sinking funds, if you're like me and you had no idea what that was, it really didn't mean anything to you when you first heard it. So it's not like an emergency fund. It's not money that's set aside for you to use when there's an emergency. It's for expenses that you're expecting to happen, but they're just not routine. They're not monthly, so you can't really fit them into your budget. So you can see I have quite a list. I kind of learned about sinking funds, grasped onto that concept, and went with it. So I mean, those categories that you see that we have kind of shows you what, like a picture of our life, really. So I'm just going to quickly go over some of our different categories that we have for sinking funds. So this is just a table I put together for us to track them that I keep in my budget binder. As I have mentioned, since we are new to this, I'm repurposing a lot of things, just kind of creating my own, Frankensteining a lot of my sheets until I have a firm grasp on what really works well for me. So for our first category here, we have home maintenance. So if you own a home, I feel like anyone who owns a home should have a home maintenance category. Next, where we live, we have an HOA, and we also have a timeshare that has an HOA. We have an Amazon Prime subscription. We have waste management. They bill us quarterly, so I figured out what that was recently. Clothes for us, clothes for our kids. I have 3 kids, so you can imagine everybody needs something at some point. Right now, my 2 boys need some shoes. And then gifts and holidays. So this really saved our buns during Mother's Day, Father's Day, we had a lot of family who was graduating, and we like to send them, like a little cash, a card, things like that. And my oldest has a birthday coming up, and then there's just lots of birthdays for us for this one. Christmas, so we celebrate Christmas. We are saving up for that, a vacation. We're hoping to take one someday. So we're saving up for that, car maintenance. So even if you don't own a car, if you own some sort of transportation device, it will require maintenance. And to have money set aside for that is very important. Our tags for our cars, this is one, actually these two are cars. I don't know why, but we used to never be prepared for this. So last Christmas, because you can see the tags are due September and October, so right before you start shopping for Christmas. They're expensive here where I live, and then both of our cars needed tires. So we dropped like almost $2,000 around Christmas time last year in tires and tags. It hurt. It was hard. And then we have a water park where we live, so we save up for that because if you get a discount if you purchase on Black Friday. And then we have security, Norton subscription, school pictures. You guys, okay, any of you parents out there will totally get me on this. So I have 3 kids, one's in daycare, so they do pictures in daycare. I was surprised at that, but of course, when they send a sample of your cute little kid's face, you're gonna buy it, and then grandma and grandpa want them, the aunties and uncles and friends and stuff like that, and you can spend $30 to $50 per school picture package, and with me having 3 kids, and they usually do these twice a year, I mean, you can do the math. It's insane. But I do enjoy pictures, and so we are saving up for family pictures. This is one that I'm really excited for because I feel like I've always pushed it to the side. Like, we haven't stayed up on our family pictures, but now that I'm saving for it, like that money is set aside specifically for that. Like, I know that I'm going to get some family pictures this year, and I'm really excited for that. Extracurricular activities, this is for my kids. They're in a bunch of random different things throughout the year. Back to school, certifications. So I mentioned we like to go fishing, so you'll see we use this for some fishing licenses. I have 2 certifications that I have to maintain as part of my job. One is yearly, one is every other year, so that pulls from here, which I just used in March, which that was nice to have. And then we have pets. So we budget for our pets every month just for like food and things like that. And one of our pets is on medicine, but we have a couple that are getting up there in age. So vet bills, saving up for potential vet bills. And then also if we decide to get any more pets, if we'll have some money set aside if we need to purchase a pet, that sort of thing. All right. And then this is how much is given to each category. So it equals $935 every month, and I just put it in there as a bill. You'll see when I do my monthly or my paycheck budget that it's in there as a bill. And then this interest, I have it in a checking account, which actually I'd be curious. I've heard a lot of people using the Capital One 360 account, and I think it's because of it accrues more interest than other accounts. Because this money, I mean, that's a decent chunk of change. It's $3,384.63 that's sitting in there. So that could build up some money on interest, and as I said, it's just in a checking account. I originally had it in a savings account, but since money is flowing in and out of this pretty routinely, this through my bank, a savings account, you get fined if there's a certain number of transfers every month, like if you exceed those number of transfers. So I opened a checking account. So I have 2 checking accounts through my one bank, which that is convenient, but I, would not be opposed to checking out a different different account to put this money in. So Capital One 360 is the one I'd heard. I'd really love to hear any of your guys' advice in the comments below if you have an account that you're using for your sinking funds that's been working well for you. Okay, so now what I want to show you guys, since this is the month of June and we're closing out our June sinking funds, how I use my budget sheets to reconcile any transactions throughout the month that come from these sinking funds. And there's been quite a few, as I mentioned, because there was a lot going on in the last month. So I'm going to pull in this first sheet, and I apologize, it is the old pens I was writing with. So these are my paycheck budget sheets, and the pens that I was writing with, this blue, it's a beautiful color, but it does not show up well at all. I have now changed to the Papermate Flair tip, which the same blue that I love to use, it shows up a lot better. But I am going to just add up, I've already added up the numbers, so when I add it to my sinking funds table, you guys will see these numbers. But just to show you, so in my weekly check-ins, you'll see me pull in the sinking funds expenses into each paycheck, depending on which paycheck we're doing a weekly check-in on. So there's paycheck 1 and paycheck 2 for us, and then I have a weekly, so week 1 and week 2. I'll show you the paycheck number 2 sheet. That one shows up better, but paycheck number 1, we filled up this table. We had a lot going on. So this one you can see a lot better, but you can see that we did not use nearly as much as we did during paycheck number 1. So this is week 3 and week 4 of paycheck number 2. When I did my weekly check-in yesterday for my closeout of the June budget, we didn't use any expenses from sinking funds. So now what I'm going to do is go and add all of these together from paycheck 1, week 1 and week 2, and then paycheck 2, week 3 and week 4, and I will come back with all of the numbers on the table, and we'll go over what we spent this month. Alright, so I am back. The table is completely filled out. I've tallied up all of my expenses throughout the month from each category. So just to quickly go over those with you guys. The first one is home maintenance. You can see we heavily use this one this month. Just getting the yard up and going. We have flower beds. We get our yard aerated and thatched. We also got one of those above ground pools for the kids because it gets really hot here. And with us not being able to be out and about very much, sorry, that was my notification to film a video. But with us not being out and about very much, that just gives them something to do. And next up is clothes. So my husband needed some pants at work. I think I also bought some flip-flops or something because mine had busted. Like they were pretty torn up. And then clothes for kids. Always something from this one, I swear. And you can see though, so the clothes for adults, some of these are negative. That doesn't really concern me because you can see the entire account isn't negative. And some of these categories, I'm not expecting that we're going to use the entire amount from it. So we can shift things around. And like, especially for clothes and then here for the gifts and holidays, these will be used more heavily certain times of the year and less so other times of the year. Like me and my husband, we don't need clothes that often. So we don't really contribute that much to that account. And then gifts and holidays, a lot of things are clustered around this time of year for us, and then it'll start to build up again as we're dipping into it less. Right, and the next thing we use, so vacation, we did have a vacation that was canceled. If you watched my debt confession video, you'll see that we were refunded and that money went to pay down debt, but we were able to go stay at a resort here where we live. So we're just gonna check that out, but it was $209 to book a week there. And then next, car maintenance. This came mainly from our motorhome, and then a car filter. So the motorhome needed a battery, my car needed the oil change. Thankfully my husband's pretty handy, so he does a lot of that. And then at the water park where we live, they were honoring the Black Friday deal that they do in November. They were honoring it this year. So we went ahead and purchased that for myself and my 2 older kids, because right now, thankfully, my younger one, he's free, but we go there quite a lot, especially my teenager. So we're getting some good use out of that. Just anything to keep the kids busy and preoccupied. Next here, the certifications. That was a fishing license for this year. So then once everything's in there, I just pretty much add and subtract, and then there's my total. So now that's what we're gonna do down here at the bottom to see what our total is at the end of the month. And then everything will be taken over to July, and I'll show you guys that completed sheet. Okay, so I'm going to take the you can see whiteout was heavily used. Your girl was struggling getting this sheet together, but we pulled it together. All right, so here we're gonna have the $33.84.63, adding in what was deposited and our little bit of interest. So the $935.01 minusing what we used this month, and our total is $2,744.42. And I did check, that does match what is currently in the checking account, so everything is looking good there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just transcribe this information to the July sinking fund, so we're all set to go for the month, and I'll meet you back once that's done. All right, and I'm back with the month of July. We have all of our ending balances here are now in the beginning balances for the month of July. How much each category is going to be allocated with the transfer from my other checking account, and our total. For the beginning, I'm waiting on the total for what's added, just because of that little bit of interest that gets tacked on at the end of the month. And we will see any usage throughout the month during my weekly check-ins on my budget sheets. So that is going to wrap up how I do my sinking funds and wrap up this video. If you guys enjoyed the content of this video, don't forget to give it a like. And if you are enjoying the content of this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload videos. I do 2 videos a week, so next week on Thursday I'll be posting a video for my week 1 check-in on my paycheck 1 budget for the month of July. And then we're on Friday going to be setting our paycheck 2 budget video. So I hope you all are having a wonderful day and are enjoying the month of July, and that it is starting out wonderfully for you. So I'm going to be going into the month of July with the theme word of gratitude, and I'm just going to let that be the energy that I put out for the rest of the month. And so it'll hopefully be a wonderful month, and I hope you all have a wonderful month as well. I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.